Do you feel it? The calm before the storm. Because right now, the WNBA isn't just in off-season mode. It's standing on the edge of a full-blown CBA meltdown that could change women's basketball forever. What was supposed to be a quiet stretch before 2026 has turned into a ticking time bomb. With the players' union and the league office locked in an ugly standoff, the future of the league and every paycheck in it is hanging by a thread. The WNBA has offered a 30-day extension to keep negotiations alive.
So let's jump right in, and let's start with the ongoing WNBA CBA negotiations. If you guys remember, the deadline for these first rounds, or the first deadline in these CBA negotiations, is this Friday, so in 2 days, October 31st. Now, most of us were expecting that the league and the players would not get a deal done by that time, and it looks like that is very well not going to happen. Alexa Filippo reported that the WNBA has offered players a 30-day extension to continue negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement.
But here's the twist. The players don't even want it. They're calling out the league for failing to create the right circumstances. Translation? They don't trust the system. They don't trust the owners. And they're ready to walk. A potential lockout, a strike, a blackout season. It's not just drama. It's existential chaos for a league already fighting for respect and growth. But as the WNBA world spirals into uncertainty, across the basketball universe, Michael Jordan decided to drop a verbal grenade on the NBA's load management culture.
An extension before the current CBA expires Friday would allow both sides more time to work toward a new deal, even though if one is not implemented, both parties could continue to negotiate in good faith. If an extension is not reached, it could open the door for a potential work stoppage, either a strike initiated by the players or a lockout initiated by the owners. A source said the players might be willing to consider an extension under the right circumstances.
And of course, the internet lost its mind. MJ didn't hold back. He basically said, "You get paid millions to play a 2-hour game. What are you doing the other 21 hours?" A simple sentence, but it hit like a dagger, straight through the heart of modern basketball. So tonight on Her Hoops, we're breaking it all down. The CBA chaos, the looming lockout, and how Michael Jordan just reignited the debate over toughness, respect, and what it really means to love the game. This isn't just a story about contracts. It's a story about principles.
But they feel those circumstances do not yet exist. And that line in this article is the one that stood out to me, because basically the players at this point in time are saying they're not sure if they're even going to accept the offer of an extension. So basically there's 3 options that you can take. You can either accept the extension that was given by the WNBA. You can not take the extension, but you can continue negotiating in good faith, which I wouldn't recommend because I've done that before and got burned by it, so I wouldn't recommend that. Or thirdly,
power and pride, because in 2025, basketball is at war with itself. To really understand how we got here, you have to rewind, because this CBA fight didn't come out of nowhere. It's been boiling for years, ever since the WNBA's 2020 agreement gave players a taste of what real progress could look like, and then slammed the door before they could walk through it. That deal, once celebrated as historic, now feels like a band-aid on a broken system. Sure, salaries went up, travel got better, marketing deals became possible.
The players could strike. The players could strike, or the owners could initiate a lockout. Now, I see in this scenario, if the players do not accept the extension, then they would just say that they were going to strike in this situation. And from my understanding, if they were to not accept this extension, and again, they have like less than 48 hours to do it at this point, if they're not going to accept it and they will go on strike, what it does is it makes it so these players are no longer part of the team. They're just like not working.
But for the players actually living it, it still wasn't enough. Fast forward to now, and the message from the players is loud and clear. They're tired of being treated like second-class professionals. The WNBPA's legal advisor, Aaron D. Drake, didn't mince words. He said, "It's been difficult to find a rhythm, to find urgency from the league." And that one line said it all. Behind the scenes, it's chaos. The league points fingers at the union, saying the players have refused to engage and leak too much to the media.
Working with the team, that means the facility's shut. They're not going to be doing workouts. They don't have access to the court, the workout room, all of these types of things. And I've said in the past, things like this actually hurt the players who are not these superstar players. They hurt hurt the middle tier and lower level players more than they actually hurt the superstar players, because superstar players at this point in time, they're making a lot more money, they have a lot more resources and access to get into other gyms, work with other trainers. But this was alarming to me that the players said that the circumstances do not exist.
The players fire right back, accusing the league of stonewalling and disrespect. And somewhere in the middle sit dozens of athletes, not superstars, not household names, just women trying to make a living, wondering if their careers are about to hit pause. Because make no mistake, a lockout hurts the middle class first. Players without big endorsement deals. Players who depend on the season paycheck to survive. Those are the ones who lose the gym access, the team facilities, the visibility, everything. Meanwhile, the stars, they've got options. They can train elsewhere, join Athletes Unlimited, or cash in with overseas contracts. So, what's the real question here? It's not just, will there be a season? It's, who's willing to sacrifice to fix the system? And that's the brutal part, because both sides think they're fighting for the soul of the league. But if neither side blinks soon, they might burn the whole thing down trying to prove a point. Let's break down what's really happening, because this isn't just business talk. This is a high-stakes chess match between the players and the league, and every move has consequences. The WNBA came to the table offering a 30-day extension, hoping to cool things off and buy time. But the players? They see it differently. They feel like every extension is just a tactic, a way for the league to delay giving them what they've earned. And honestly, can you blame them? In 2019, during the last CBA battle, the players gave the league 2 extra months, and it still dragged until the new year. Now, with the holidays approaching and only weeks before training camps begin, the timeline looks eerily familiar. The WNBA says it's been negotiating in good faith. They claim their top priority is improving pay, benefits, and working conditions, while keeping the league sustainable. They even accuse the players of focusing too much on public drama instead of constructive engagement. Translation? Stop talking, play ball. But the players aren't staying quiet this time. They've already exposed what they believe is an outdated system, one where they only get 9% of total revenue, while the NBA still owns 42% of the league. That's right, less than half of the WNBA even belongs to itself. So when players ask for revenue sharing, the league's answer is simple. We don't control enough of it to give it to you. See the trap? It's a system built on dependency, and the players know it. They're not just asking for more money. They're asking for power, ownership, respect. Meanwhile, the league's response is to accuse them of offering no viable economic proposal. Basically saying, your dreams don't match our spreadsheets. But here's the real kicker. While this public war rages, networks like ESPN are quietly expanding deals with Athletes Unlimited, a rival off-season league for WNBA stars. That's right, as the WNBA threatens to shut down, another league is gearing up to steal the spotlight. And if that happens, the WNBA won't just lose time, it might lose control of its own players. Here's where things start to get messy. Because while the WNBA and its players are locked in a cold war over money and respect, the entire basketball world just got rocked by a voice we haven't heard in years, Michael Jordan. And of course, the timing couldn't be more poetic. While WNBA players argue about who's working hard enough and who's paying who, MJ shows up on national TV and basically says, "Work harder." In his short NBC segment, Jordan didn't just criticize load management, he annihilated it. He said, "You play basketball for 2.5 to 3 hours a day. That's your job. What are you doing the other 21 hours?" That one quote hit like a thunderclap, because it wasn't just aimed at today's NBA stars like Kawhi Leonard or Luka Doncic. It hit the entire modern athlete culture, including the WNBA. Think about it. The GOAT himself, a man who never ducked competition, never missed a game for rest, is now reminding everyone what it used to mean to love the grind. And suddenly, his old-school mindset clashes head-on with the modern fight for balance, wellness, and fair treatment. That's the contradiction. Two realities colliding. The WNBA's players say they're exhausted, underpaid, overworked, and ignored. Meanwhile, Jordan's message is simple. You play because fans show up for you. You owe them that. It's like basketball's ultimate culture war. On one side, a league fighting to be respected like professionals. On the other, the greatest player of all time saying professionalism means showing up every single night, no excuses. And while that sounds like a motivational quote on paper, it also exposes the gap between eras. Jordan played when stars had power through dominance. Today's players are fighting for power through negotiation. Still, MJ's comments carry weight, maybe too much weight, because when Michael Jordan speaks, the world listens. And when he says today's athletes are soft, it fuels every critic who's already doubting the WNBA's seriousness amid this CBA chaos. So now, the players aren't just battling owners and contracts. They're fighting the shadow of a legacy that refuses to fade. Let's go deeper, because this isn't just about money or quotes anymore. It's about image, leverage, and legacy. Right now, every WNBA player, from A'ja Wilson to Lexie Hull, is caught in the middle of something much bigger than basketball. This CBA fight isn't just a financial negotiation. It's a referendum on how women's sports are valued. When the players say they're tired of working in silence, they're not exaggerating. For decades, WNBA athletes have been told to be grateful, to accept less, to smile through it, to promote growth while sacrificing personal gain. But the new generation? They're done with that. They've seen Caitlin Clark pack out arenas. They've watched the WNBA pull record ratings. And now they're asking the simplest question possible. If the game is growing, why aren't we? But the WNBA structure is a wall they keep running into. Remember, the league itself only owns 42% of its brand. Another 42% belongs to the NBA, and 16% to private investors. That means even if Cathy Engelbert wanted to give players a 50-50 split, she literally couldn't. The math and the ownership don't allow it. So when you zoom out, you realize something powerful. The WNBA isn't just negotiating against its players, it's negotiating against its own reflection. It wants independence, but it's still tethered to the NBA's shadow. It wants growth, but it's still financially handcuffed. And here's where it gets personal. For the players, for the fans, and even for the culture. Because if this lockout happens, the league loses momentum right when it finally broke through the mainstream. 2024 was the year of the W. Record attendance, massive social buzz, new fans pouring in thanks to Clark, Reese, Stewart, and Ionescu. Now, all that energy could vanish overnight. Meanwhile, leagues like Athletes Unlimited are sitting quietly in the corner, smiling. They just struck a new deal with ESPN, a move that says, if the WNBA falls asleep, we're ready to take your place. So here's the brutal truth. If the WNBA doesn't find balance between its players and its power brokers soon, someone else will. This is where the ripple effect starts. Because what's happening inside the WNBA boardroom isn't staying there. It's spilling out into the entire culture of women's sports, shaking the foundation of what fans believe the league stands for. Let's be real, the WNBA has always marketed itself as more than a league. It's been a movement, about empowerment, equality, representation. But right now, that movement feels fractured. Fans who were finally tuning in, drawn by the energy of Caitlin Clark, the swagger of Angel Reese, the dominance of A'ja Wilson, are now watching headlines about labor disputes and negotiation drama instead of basketball highlights. It's déjà vu for women's sports. Just when the attention is peaking, chaos finds a way to steal the spotlight. And that's dangerous, because momentum is fragile. If the 2026 season gets delayed, it's not just players who'll pay the price. It's the fans, the sponsors, the broadcasters, and the young girls who just found their heroes. When games stop, conversations stop. And when conversations stop, visibility fades. But this goes even deeper, because this CBA fight could also redefine how future leagues are built. The WNBA was the blueprint, the first major women's league tied to an established men's brand. But that connection to the NBA, once seen as protection, now looks like a cage. You can't call yourself independent when someone else owns half your house. Meanwhile, upstart leagues like Unrivaled and Athletes Unlimited are watching this unfold like hawks. They're seeing a generation of players frustrated, restless, and ready for something new. And with ESPN's recent broadcast deal for Athletes Unlimited, it's clear. Media partners are hedging their bets. They're saying, if the WNBA can't figure it out, we'll find someone who can. So yes, this fight is about paychecks and percentages, but it's also about trust. If fans lose trust in the WNBA's leadership, if players lose faith in the system, then all the progress of 2024 could vanish in a single offseason. The world is finally watching women's basketball, but the question is, when the lights are this bright, can the WNBA handle the heat? So here we are, standing at the edge of what could be the biggest turning point in WNBA history. It's more than just a contract fight. It's a showdown for the soul of the league. The players say they've had enough. No more silence, no more being told to wait for growth. They've built the buzz, filled the seats, carried the brand, and now they want a fair piece of what they helped create. And honestly, can you blame them? Look at what the league has become. Caitlin Clark is a global name. Angel Reese turned college hype into a full-on cultural movement. A'ja Wilson is dominating on and off the court. These women are not just athletes, they're franchises. They move ratings, they sell out arenas, they crash social media algorithms. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If the people who built this moment don't get rewarded, the entire foundation cracks. Because players talk, and when they start questioning whether the grind is worth it, the entire league starts bleeding talent. If this strike actually happens, 2026 won't just be a missed season. It'll be a lost generation. A year where momentum dies, fans drift away, and the league risks going back to square one, just when it was finally breaking through. But maybe this is what the WNBA needs. Maybe a hard reset is the only way to force real change. Because let's face it, history shows us that progress doesn't come from comfort. It comes from confrontation. The NBA didn't become what it is today without its own lockouts, revolts, and battles for power. Maybe it's the W's turn to fight, to define what kind of league it wants to be for the next 25 years. So whether this ends in a deal, a standoff, or a full-blown strike, one thing is clear. The WNBA can't go back to business as usual. Not after this. Not after the players found their voices. Not after the world finally started listening. Because the truth is, you can't grow a game by silencing the people who made it worth watching. This is Her Hoops, and we'll be right here covering every twist, every headline, and every bombshell that drops. Because the story of women's basketball? It's just getting started. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Because trust me, this WNBA storm is far from over.